This lecture video on factoring by U-substitution. So your learning goal is students will be able to factor by using substitution method. You have already learned how to factor quadratic trinomials, f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. However, there will be moments where you have to factor higher degree trinomials other than 2, but still be able to factor as long as it fits the quadratic form. For example, all of these are quadratic type expressions. So we all know how to factor out ax squared plus bx plus c. So you guys either factor from a equals 1 or a greater than 1 in those situations. But in these situations, you guys, these are not a degree of 2, which means you don't know how to factor those yet because those are not quadratics. Remember, quadratics have the highest degree is 2. So what do you do in this situation then? You guys do something called the U-substitution. So to factor these, we can use a U-substitution to make these expressions look like a trinomial that we are more accustomed to working with. So here are some examples. Now, these look very similar to this form. This looks very similar to the quadratic form that we're accustomed to factoring. Now, notice this is one key thing. This degree is double of this one, right? And if it's double, then it is possible to do a U substitution. So I think you all can agree that another way to write x to the fourth is like this, right? X to the second raised to the second power. And rewrite this. Now, what we can do is we can set this random variable u equals to x to the second. Now, if we do that, right, this x to the second, you guys, becomes u, and then it's raised to the second power, coming from right there. And then plus 4. Remember, u equals x to the second, so then this is u plus 4. And everyone, look at this, right? This form looks almost identical to this one, right? The only difference is that that's x variables and this is u. So we got this trinomial to look like a quadratic trinomial. Now we can factor this just like so. On top would be 4, because a times c, you guys, is 4. On the bottom it's b, so it's 4. And if you guys forgot about this, right, a is 1, b is 4, and c is 4. On the top, you guys get a times c. On the bottom, it's b. The two numbers that multiply to the top, but when added gives you guys the bottom, it's 2 and 2. And since a is equals to 1, then that means these will be a part of our factors. So we're going to have u plus 2 times u plus 2. Now, remember, we did not start off with u variables, right? We started off with x variables. So what we're going to do is just substitute this in back in for these u's. And our answer is going to be x squared plus 2 and x squared plus 2. And those are our factors. So if you guys are proficient with a is equal to 1 and a is greater than 1 factoring, then you should be able to factor using U-substitution. Part B. Something you guys can factor from each term is 2. So 2, we get x to the 6 minus 14 divided by 2 is 7. X to the third, 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay. Now, we're going to set u equals to x to the third, because if we do that, then we're going to get 2 times u to the second, because if you guys are like, how is he getting that? Well, can't this be written as x to the third to the second power, right? And if we substitute in the x to the third with the u, we're going to get u to the second minus 7u plus 12. And now, I'm going to move this up. We can do our x method, you guys, of the parenthesis. So a equals 1, b equals negative 7, c equals 12. A times c up top, b on the bottom. So we're going to get 12 and negative 7 for negative 4 and negative 3. Now, since a is equals to 1, we can factor this by using these two side numbers. Don't forget the 2. U minus 4 times u minus 3. And we weren't dealing with u's, we were dealing with x's. So we gotta substitute this back in for these two u's. 2 x to the third minus 4 x to the third minus 3. And that would be your guys' answer. So, here are the steps to help you guys facilitate through this. Step 1, set u equal to a part of the original function, usually from the middle term. Okay. Step 2, you're going to substitute the u into the original equation so that it looks like this, which is perfect because we want to substitute in a u, you guys, to make it look like a quadratic. Factor the trinomial like how you normally would when a is equal to 1 or when a is greater than 1. Once in factored form, replace the u with the expression of the original variable. So let's take a look, right? First of all, is this double of this? Yes, so we can potentially do this by U-substitution. Notice this is 2, this better be double, so 4. So, following the notes, u is going to equal the middle term, you guys, or its variable, which is x to the second. So we're going to get u to the second minus 5u plus 6. And we're going to factor. If you guys still need to write this, a is 1, b is negative 5, and c is 6. A times c up top, b on the bottom. A times c 6, b is negative 5. So the two numbers are negative 3 and negative 2. Now, since a is equals to 1, that means we just use these as our factors. U minus 3 and u minus 2. But then again, you guys, u equals x squared is going to be what we're going to substitute in for. So we're going to get x squared minus 3 times x squared minus 2. Okay. Part B. 4 is double of 2 for the degrees, so we can use our u substitution. U is going to equal the middle term, you guys, which is x to the second. So we're going to get u squared plus 17u plus 70. We're going to factor this. The two numbers that multiply to the top is 7 and 10. And when you add 7 and 10, you guys, it's 17. So we're going to have u plus 7 and then u plus 10. Now remember, plug x squared back in for u. X squared plus 7, x squared plus 10. And there's your guys' factors. C, you can factor out a negative 2 from each term. So we get x to the 6 plus 3x to the third plus 2. U is going to equals to x to the third, you guys, because look, the 6 is double of 3. So set u equals to the middle term. So what we really have is u squared plus 3u plus 2. So we're going to do x method from the parentheses, you guys. 2, 3. The two numbers are 2 and 1. So don't forget the negative 2 that we're going to include our answer in the end. Since a is equals to 1, we can just use these two side numbers, u plus 2 times u plus 1. But we weren't dealing with u's before, we were dealing with x's, so plug in that back into the equation. X to the third plus 2, x to the third plus 1. Okay. So, sorry, trying to get over this voice thing, guys. So, right now, that was when a is equals to 1. Now, when we go to these, you guys, these are when a is going to be greater than 1. So, 8 is doubled in 4. So, u is equals to x to the 4th. So, we're going to get 2u squared minus 5u minus 3. So, we do x method. Now, remember this, you guys. Don't forget this. A is 2, b is negative 5, and c is negative 3. A times c up top is negative 6, and the bottom is negative 5. The two numbers are negative 6 and 1. A is greater than 1, you guys. You guys have to factor by grouping. Write down the first term. This is the compilation of these two, right? So negative 6u plus 1u, and then minus 3, the last term. And then we guys group. You can factor out a 2u from the first one to get u minus 3, and you guys can factor out just a 1 from the second grouping. So you guys will get 2u plus 1 times u minus 3. And then plug in our x to the 4th back in for the u's. 2x to the 4th plus 1. X to the 4th minus 3. Okay, now I didn't go over b with the class, but if we were to use b2, this would be the work for it. 3u squared minus 14u plus 8. You guys would have gotten 24, negative 14 for negative 12 and negative 2. A is greater than 1. 3u squared minus 12u minus 2u plus 8. Group. Factor out a 3u to get u minus 4. Factor out a negative 2 to get u minus 4. 3u minus 2, u minus 4. And then, because u equals x squared, you guys would have gotten 3x squared minus 2 and x squared minus 4. Part C. Now, from 8, 22, and negative 6, you guys, you can factor out a 2 from each. And now we're going to set u equals 2 because 4 is double of 2, right? We can do U-substitution by plugging in u for the middle term. 2 out of 4u squared plus 11u minus 3. Now we can just factor this like we normally would, you guys. Negative 12, 11, positive 12, and negative 1. So a is greater than 1, so you guys can factor by grouping. I'm going to put the 2 at the bottom so we don't forget about it. 4u squared plus 12u minus u minus 3. We group those, you guys. So factor out a 4u from both to get u plus 3. Factor out a negative 1 to get u plus 3. So 4u minus 1 out of u plus 3. And then plug in our x squared, you guys, back in for u. So we're going to get 4x squared minus 1 and x squared plus 3. It just takes some practicing and getting very comfortable with graphing a, or factoring a equals 1 and a is greater than 1. Okay, these were doyos that you guys should have tried on your own. U is going to equal the middle term, you guys, so x to the 4th. 5u squared plus 8u minus 4. On the top, it's negative 20. Hold on. The bottom is 8. So on the top, you guys are going to get 10 times negative 2. So a is greater than 1, so you guys can factor by grouping. First term, These are a combination of the two middle term, of the middle term, and then minus 4. Group, group, factor out a 5u to get u plus 2, factor out a negative 2 to get u plus 2. 5u minus 2, u plus 2. Again, plug in x to the fourth back in for u, and we're going to get 5x to the fourth minus 2, x to the fourth plus 2. Okay, so that's that one. Now for B, you guys, I didn't go over this in class, but I'll at least show you guys your work that what you should have gotten. Oh, I can't factor out a 3. So u is equal to x to the third, 3u squared minus 8u minus 3. X method, negative 9 at top, negative 8 on the bottom. Negative 9 times 1 will give you top, and then when you add them, gives you bottom. A is greater than 1, so 3u squared minus 9u plus u minus 3. Group, group. 3u out of u minus 3 plus 1, you guys, u minus 3. So we get 3u plus 1 times u minus 3. And again, plug in x to the third back in. 3x to the third plus 1, x to the third minus 3. And our last one, you guys, part C, you can factor out a negative 3 from each of these terms. So negative 3, 6x to the fourth minus 7x squared plus 2. U is going to equals to x squared, you guys, the middle term, because remember 4 is doubled than 2. So we're going to get negative 3 out of 6u squared minus 7u plus 2. Again, factor using x method. A times b, 6 times 2 is 12, negative 7. The two numbers are negative 4 and negative 3. A is greater than 1, so you guys factor this by grouping. I'm going to drop the negative 3 down so you remember. So first term, 6u squared minus negative 4u minus 3u plus 2. Group, 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 group. Factor out a 2u to get u 3u minus 2. Factor out a negative 1 to get 3u minus 2. They both match, so 2u minus 1, 3u minus 2. And the x squared was our u, so we're going to substitute that in for 2x squared minus 1, 3x squared minus 2. And that is how you guys factor using U-substitution. And for the memes, this isn't regular factoring, this is advanced factoring by SpongeBob. Good luck, you guys. Peace.